If you've got a cat, you know exactly what I'm talking about. One minute, they're this stone-cold, deadly hunter stalking a toy. The next, they're leaping 3 feet in the air because they saw their own tail. So what is going on inside that furry little head? Well, today, we're going to solve the puzzle of your cat's split personality. Right, let's just get straight to it. Which one is it? Are they this fearless predator that stalks through the shadows? Or are they the jumpy little creature that's absolutely terrified of, I don't know, a cucumber? It feels like they can't be both, but as any cat owner will tell you, they absolutely are. And that contradiction, well, that's the key to understanding everything. And this lays it out perfectly, right? The two sides we see every single day. On one paw, you've got the hunter, stealthy, agile, with senses that are just razor sharp, honed for the kill. And on the other paw, the scaredy cat, jumps at everything, always on alert, and super territorial, which, believe it or not, usually comes from a place of fear, not aggression. So how can these two totally opposite personalities live inside one little animal? Well, the answer to this whole puzzle, it actually comes down to one single, kind of fascinating scientific term. It's a concept that perfectly defines our feline friends, and honestly, it solves the mystery of their weird behavior once and for all. I want you to picture the classic food chain, you know? You've got your apex predators way up at the top, and you've got the prey animals down at the bottom. But here's the secret to understanding your cat. They don't really belong in either group. Their whole personality, that split personality thing, it's all because they live right smack in the middle of all the action. And here it is. This is the magic word, mesopredator. So what is that? A mesopredator is an animal that hunts, but it's also hunted. It is both predator and prey. And this isn't just some boring label. This is the core programming that drives almost every single confusing thing your cat does. So check this out. This chart makes it super clear. Way up top, you've got the apex predators. Think wolves, big lions. They don't really have to look over their shoulder for anyone. Then down at the bottom, you have the prey. And right there, sandwiched in the middle, along with foxes and raccoons, you'll find your house cat. They hunt the animals below them, but they're also hunted by the animals above them. So what does this mean? It means their whole life is this constant, tricky balancing act. Their hunter prowess means they are built to be these confident, efficient little killers. But their vulnerability means they are literally hardwired with the caution of a prey animal, always scanning for danger from above. That is exactly why they can be stalking a bird one second and then running for their life from a loud noise the next. It's the mesopredator instinct live in action. Okay, so now we get why our cats are the way they are, but let's kind of zoom out for a second. What happens when you take this perfectly evolved mid-level hunter and you drop it into our neighborhoods, basically outside of its natural context? Well, the consequences are pretty huge. We need to talk about their global paw print. Billions! Just let that number sink in for a second. It's a staggering figure, and it really represents the true scale of their impact. But billions of what? That number, that's the birds and small mammals that are killed every single year by free-roaming cats. And that's just in the United States alone. They're such effective mesopredators that without their own natural predators around to keep their numbers in check, their hunting instincts can have an absolutely devastating effect on local wildlife. And you know, this isn't just a sad story about individual animals. When you remove that many birds and mammals from an ecosystem, it can cause the whole thing to unravel. It totally disrupts the natural food chain and leads to what scientists call cascading effects, which can impact everything from the number of insects to the health of the plants. Okay, so this is a real pickle, right? We love these animals, they're part of our families, but we also have a responsibility to protect the ecosystems around us. The good news is, conservationists and animal welfare groups are already working on finding a path to coexistence. So the experts are really pointing to a three-step plan here. It starts with managing feral populations humanely through something called trap, neuter, return, or TNR. For those of us with pet cats, the single biggest thing we can do is just keep them indoors. And then the foundation for all of this is community education, making sure people are aware of how big this issue really is. At the end of the day, it really all boils down to this. Look, this isn't about blaming cats for just being cats, right? They're just following their deepest instincts. It's about us, as the people who care for them, finding a responsible balance. We have to look out for their welfare while also protecting the world they live in. So where does that leave us? Understanding that our cat is a mesopredator, this creature of the middle, it explains so much.
but it also gives us a new kind of responsibility. It forces us to ask ourselves, how do we balance our love for this pet with the wild hunter that lives inside of it? How do we make sure that wildness doesn't end up harming the world right outside our door? It's a question every cat owner should really think about.